Rabbit meat is actually one of the healthiest forms of protein with almost zero fat and known as white meat, which has helped fuel the demand. Peter Macharia kept rabbits as a child as pets, but did not know that one day rabbits would be the source of his bread and butter.
When I was a small boy, I used to keep rabbits, but by then they had not become very good in money making. Nowadays, when I grew up, I stayed in Nairobi a bit, and then I knew there is money in rabbit rearing.
Macharia says one of the things that makes commercial rabbit farming attractive is the low cost of production. His startup capital was 1,200 shillings, with which he bought 3 bucks that delivered 35 kindlings after a period of 3 months. He has since constructed 500 cages on a 10 by 15 piece of land with a capacity of 2,000 rabbits.
Rabbit rearing you don't need a lot of space. You don't need a lot of expensive materials. You build your cages with the locally available material you have.
And he says his 6 years of breeding rabbits has taught him that one has to keep the cages clean. Dirt, droppings and urine from rabbits can contain germs that will make them sick, and a dirty cage will attract flies. When it's time to breed, the female rabbit or doe is put in the cage with the male or buck in the early morning or evening. After mating, she can be put back on her own cage. Gestation is between 28 to 31 days, usually a month, and a rabbit can get up to 6 to 10 babies.
You can even start with 1 and then take it to a male, even if it's to your neighbor, and then you can start from 1. You can also start from many. It all depends with the amount of capital you have.
Their eyes will not open until about 2 weeks after they are born. Do not touch any of the baby rabbits until they are 7 days old. If you do, you will change the way they smell and the mother will not feed them. If you need to check the baby rabbits, rub your hands over the mother first. Then the babies will smell like their mother instead of smelling like your hands. Macharia says rabbits are small and easy to feed. They adapt well to city conditions, making it a business that anyone can easily learn. I'm trying to get over my fear for rabbits, and for some good reasons. I'm told this is one of the most popular ventures in the country. Indeed, 1 kilo can retail for up to 500 shillings. And as you can see, production cost is not that high. I'm actually just feeding them with weeds from the shamba. He says he sells a kilo of rabbit meat for 500 shillings, and some rabbit breeds, like the Flemish Giant, can fetch 7 to 8 kilos if fed well.
In one good month, in most cases we sell almost 200 rabbits per month, and that fetches us allowed 20 or more thousand shillings.
According to him, coming up with the disease-resistant and weighty breeds lie in crossbreeding the rabbits.
The more you are interbreeding them, the more you get other species, different colors, different formations.
California White and the New Zealand, which came with the colonialists, are the most popular in Kenya. But breeding rabbit isn't just about high meat prices. Macharia soon found out that he could sell them as pets, and also discovered guinea pigs that are close to rabbits and retail for 1,000 shillings each.
They share the same kind of food with rabbits, and they are small in size. They are also very clean, and they also fetch a lot of money, especially when you sell them to the research institutions.
Rabbit farmers have formed an association, and last year got an order from China to supply a consignment of 22,000 pieces of rabbit fur per delivery. But because Kenyans are yet to adopt rabbit keeping fully, they could not raise that figure. Also, Kenyan rabbit farmers have been locked out of the local and international markets due to failure to adhere to public health and environmental safety demands.
The government needs to do more. need to do more. There are so many farmers, and these things are very easy to keep. Any farmer can keep a rabbit.
Rabbit farmers from Central and Rift Valley regions plan to set up a 1.2 billion shilling processing factory, a move that will enable them sell more in the local market and export. The factory will be located in Kiambu County and will have a slaughterhouse, a packaging section, and a refrigerated truck to transport products. Macharia plans to expand his farm to 10,000 rabbits in the next 5 years and says he strongly believes that rabbits can change the country's economy and help eradicate poverty.
On tonight's market report, inflation rose in the month of April and now stands at 12.05%, while economic growth figures remain at the last figures released by the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics at 6.1% for the third quarter of 2010. We still await full-year growth figures for 2010 and quarter-one growth figures for 2011. The 91-day Treasury bill is attracting interest at 3.57% following the auction, while the 182-day and 364-day papers are attracting interest at 3.58 and 4.99% respectively. The average bank deposit rate stood at 13.92% as at the end of March this year, while the average bank deposit rate stood at 3.47% at the time, meaning that banks were enjoying an interest rate spread of 10.45%. Looking at the Nairobi Stock Exchange, there are 15 stocks currently trading with dividends, with yields ranging from 1% at Athi River Mining to 4.9% at KCB. The other stocks with dividends include Pan Africa Insurance Holdings, CFC Stanbic Holdings, Diamond Trust Bank, Scan Group, Jubilee Holdings, Housing Finance, Kakuzi TPS Eastern Africa, the holding company for Serena Hotels, Cooperative Bank, Total Kenya, Standard Group, Kenya Re, and Crown Berger. On your question answered tonight, Sylvia from Nairobi says, now that the stock market is not doing very well, is it advisable to remove my money and put it in other avenues? Which ones are these? We put the question to Johnson Derry of Suntra Investment Bank.
Thank you, Michael. Before even we decide that the stock market is not doing well, we have to look at the various asset classes. Now, shares are not all heterogeneous. There are various earning qualities, and some, depending now whether or not you exit the market depends on your investment strategy. So, for example, if you have a long-term strategy and you're convinced that the company you're investing is doing well and is adding in value, then there is probably no reason to exit. However, there are other asset classes in case you've got a different investment strategy or objectives, and this include bonds. We've got two classes of bonds. We've got corporate bonds and treasury bonds. Both of them will offer you different types of returns depending on your objectives. So if you stay on the lookout for those, that should probably offer you enough diversity to manage your investments well.
Thank you for watching this edition of KTN Business Weekly. Let us know your thoughts and do send that question for the expert via email ktnbizweekly@standardmedia.co.ke or send a text message to 8040, kindly starting with the words Business Weekly. From the entire KTN Business Weekly team, thank you very much for watching, and let's meet again for another edition of KTN Business Weekly, same time next week. I'm Michael Oyer. Good night.